How you doing, everyone? Welcome back. I know it's been a couple of days since I put anything up, and that's, well, you know, been kind of busy with some things here, and I'm going to try not to neglect this channel because I am still trying to grow it. I don't know if you can see right here. Probably not, but I've got my buddy George. He wants to say hi, I think. No, he doesn't either. He's camera shy. He wants to stay right down here. Anyway, that that massive ballroom that Donald Trump has been talking about, that he's the only one that's been talking about it. I mean, massive ballroom, supposedly no taxpayer dollars going to this thing. I don't believe that for a minute. Supposedly there was going to be no structural change to the White House in order to make it happen. Well, where's the East Wing? Explain to me where the East Wing went. And why was Congress not involved in this? I mean, they get a say in things like that. I'm just flabbergasted. I am almost at a loss for words here. This guy, he literally destroyed the East Wing. And I don't get it. I don't get it. When are we going to stand up and actually, I mean, yeah, all right, we've been out there, we've been doing some protests here and there, but when are we actually going to stand up and stop this clown? Apologies to clowns out there. I know you're hardworking entertainers who, without your makeup and your big shoes and your funny wigs, no circus or rodeo would be complete, right? So apologies to clowns. I mean, you guys actually serve a legitimate purpose in our society. Yeah, I mean, this guy, I mean, some have speculated that it is his goal to just completely replace the White House. Like, get rid of it and replace it with something else. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. We do know that during his first term, he called the White House a dump. He called it a dump. And then you've got Caroline Leavitt out there saying that, well, we are modernizing. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I modernized a Kia Niro when I hit a deer with it at 70 miles an hour. Yeah, I modernized that car. By, just destroying it. He's not modernizing anything. And in principle, I'm not even really against this whole ballroom idea, right? As long as you go through the proper channels. But why is this going on as the government is shut down? Oh, and by the way, are the contractors going to be paid? I doubt it. Does he ever pay contractors? Not in his previous business dealings. So, what started out as, a $200 million project or $250 million project, he's now saying is $300 million? Great. So you haven't even finished destroying the west wing, or excuse me, the east wing yet. You haven't even finished destroying the east wing yet, and it's already that much over budget? No taxpayer dollars, but yet he's trying to get some like 230 million from the DOJ paid directly to him. You know, that supposedly he's going to donate to charity. Yeah, that charity's going to be his ballroom. I just cannot believe what is going on. I mean, he has leveled part of the White House. Now, if you want to go through and say that other presidents have also made changes to the White House, true. Absolutely true. If you want to go through and say, well, you know, Teddy Roosevelt added the West Wing, okay, yeah. He also went through the proper channels. Or I think it was Taft who added the Oval Office. Okay, again, going through proper channels. And that was inside of the existing structure. Right? That was inside the existing structure. So, you know, I don't know. By the way, Elliot has jumped up here to join me now too. So, but yeah. Then you want to mention the swimming pool. Okay, again, through proper channels, and it was within the existing structure. Same with the bowling alley. Or you want to talk about when Truman renovated the White House. Yeah, he actually made renovations to improve it and extend its longevity. Yeah, he did. He renovated. And there was some remodeling that took place. He didn't obliterate the structure itself. It's not like he just decided to come in and bulldoze a huge chunk of the building. The building still stood. You know, and then people like to point out, well, you know, Obama, you know, he put in a basketball court. You're going to compare a basketball court to demolishing the East Wing. The basketball court, first of all, he took the existing tennis court and modified it so that it would be fit for both tennis and basketball. It could be used for either one. Had nothing to do with the building itself. Don't compare adding a couple of basketball hoops and changing the floor on the tennis court to demolishing the East Wing to build a ballroom that nobody has asked for. But you know, I guess, what do you expect? You know, when we had our No Kings protest, you know, a lot of the right-wingers are out there saying, well, you know what, congratulations, we don't have a king. Yeah, that's kind of the point. That's kind of the reason we were out there. And the fact that he is acting like a king, trying to build his palace, is exactly why we were out there. He doesn't want an executive mansion. He doesn't want the White House. He wants a palace. He's trying to turn this place into something as gaudy as Mar-a-Lago. I mean, you've already seen the tacky-ass gold that he's got all over the place. And he's already told us about all the gold that is going to be inside of this ballroom. That I don't even expect it to be completed during his term. And if it's not, I hope the next president demolishes the ballroom and restores the East Wing. You know, I mean, people like to make the argument, well, what is the East Wing really used for? Well, honestly, I don't know. I know that the First Lady typically has an office in the East Wing, but you know what you could have done, though? Is you could have just knocked out some of the interior walls and built a ballroom in there. It doesn't have to be as big as the rest of the building, or even bigger than the rest of the White House. You don't need a ballroom that big. I mean, I've never been actually inside the White House, but I have driven by it. You don't need a ballroom bigger than that building. You just don't. It's all a vanity project. This guy holds nothing sacred but his own ego. And God help us if nobody stops him before his term is up, because it's going to get worse. I mean, as it is, with the government being shut down, you know, we've got hungry people who aren't going to be able to eat because they won't be able to get their SNAP benefits. You know, our Social Security check's going to go out. How many senior citizens are going to have to go without their Social Security, right? Or, you know, their Medicare, you know, I mean, their medical treatment, because, you know, they can't get treatment through Medicare. And all kinds of things that, you know, you may think that the government being shut down doesn't affect you, but just wait. You know, what about, you know, veterans who are on disability, right? VA disability. I mean, I know they've shifted some money around to actually pay the active duty military, but are veterans on disability going to get paid? And then instead of furloughing government workers, they just decided to fire them. You know, because that's such a great idea, isn't it? I think he wants to keep the government shut down so that he can be a king. Anyway, this whole thing is disgusting. I'll catch y'all next time.